Hello! So today we're going to be doing our last screencast, which is going to be Understanding Transition, Transition IEPs, and our case study student. So your transition team is going to be made up of quite a few people, and this is all just for one student. It's going to include the student's parents if they're available, your caseload teacher, your general education teachers, if this is applicable for the student, the special education administrator, any school counselors, the school psychologist, possibly the principal and any of the student's employers, or local college representatives who will be there to give information and assessments for that student to help with IEP goals. So what is transition? Transition is defined as a partnership process involving students, their families, and their communities to help students choose living situations and ensure graduation with community skills to access work and post-secondary educational options if desired. So what does IDEA say? First, at age 14, there's going to be a statement of transition of the child's needs. So what are they going to need to make it post-secondary in the world? And this is going to be placed in the IEP, and what this one is mostly going to focus on is what courses is this child going to need in order to prepare him or her for a post-secondary life. Then at age 16 you're going to have another statement of transition needs, and this one is also going to include interagency responsibilities, so any adult services that might be needed or any assistance with employers or other community agencies. Then 1 year before the age of majority, which is 18, the child must be informed of their rights that may or may not transfer to them upon reaching the age of majority. So like your power of attorney, power of medical, that is something that a child has the right to know if they have or not. And IDEA also says that graduated students who have not received a diploma, so your certification track students, may continue to receive special education services into adulthood. Now some other laws for transition services, like the Americans with Disability Act and the Carl D. Perkins Vocational and Applied Technology Education Act, both in 1998, are both laws that give different guarantees in special education, like a child entitled to special needs services cannot be turned away from receiving special ed services. And then there's another one called the Workforce Investment Act of 1998, and what this does is it merges job training and vocational rehabilitation programs all into kind of one law, and it gives additional opportunity to strengthen any rehabilitational vocation services and emphasizes self-advocacy for the student. So it kind of helps the student become a more independent person with job skills. And we really need to know the law here, so what the law will help us identify are high quality goals, which helps us program students the best transition plan that we can give them. It'll give them the best shot possible at success in adulthood. And what this will also help the teachers do is see the bigger picture for the student, and it'll help look beyond what just the special educator can do for different transition efforts. So this might be reaching out to employers or other members of the community to give the student opportunity. It all depends on each student and what they need and what they are capable of. So assessments in transition planning, the role of the assessments is to give up-to-date data of each student's academic and personal achievement, their personality, their interests, so what they like to do, their aptitude, and also their abilities. And what this will help you do is it'll help you set realistic goals that are attainable for the student's future. So if they're interested in animals, then possibly working as a dog walker might be a job for them, or something working with animals such as like working at the shelter, being a veterinary aide, whatever that student's able to do based on their interest in what they're able to do. So your ESTER J, that evaluates a student's aptitude in areas of employment, recreation, home living, community participation, and post-secondary education. And they do it in percentages, and it's taken out of 47 points. And what this helps you do is it helps you evaluate where the student's at in terms of how ready am I if I were to graduate today, how well would I succeed as an adult? And what this helps special educators identify is areas of need where it might be lacking, so they can plan that, they can build that into the transition IEP to help the student learn some of those skills. So my case study student was a 17-year-old white male. He is a senior in high school. He qualifies for services under learning disability. He has ADD. He is currently preparing for college, and in the interview I learned this student does not like people or anything to do with people, and he would very much enjoy a job designing video games because that means he doesn't really have to deal with people all that much. He's very driven, very personally self-motivated. And according to his Esther J, he got 33 out of 47 points total, which is a percentage readiness of about 70%. So he's getting there. So his results, he still definitely needs work in employment, community participation, and post-secondary education. His lowest score was actually in community participation at 43%. With time and preparation and more supports, this student should be perfectly capable of living independently and holding down a paid job. This student also needs some work in learning money management, so banking and bills, preparing foods. He is a boy, he likes to just use the microwave and takeout. And this student, who also happens to have Asperger's syndrome, also needs a little bit more work in learning how to fill out job applications and school applications, and working on those interpersonal and interviewing skills that'll help land him a job and help him earn scholarships and things that'll just help him get pretty far in life. And I'm very confident that with supports from home, teachers, and a 504 plan, he should have absolutely no problem transitioning into post-secondary education and then later on into adult society. This student should be a very successful example of a transition IEP at its finest. So how is transition put into an IEP? It's in section 7 of the IEP, and legally it should be started at around age 14, but it has to be started at age 16 at the very latest. It includes a description of the student's abilities and limitations in relation to present and future needs and goals. It includes collaborational efforts between school personnel, so like your counselors, your special ed teachers, your gen ed teachers, to meet the transitional goals of the student. Coordination with the community, any adult service providers, and any colleges for information and resources for the student concerning eligibility or ability, aptitude, anything like that. And this also includes active involvement of the students and their parents in the planning and implementation process of the IEP so that everyone is satisfied and everyone feels confident moving forward. So another question we need to ask ourselves is, how can teachers, any adult agencies, and communities provide the services for the student? Now, the teacher's main goal is going to be assisting, again, in a lot of that academic development and personal development. Especially the caseload teacher is going to assist in the planning and implementation of the transition IEP, and the teacher is also going to work with students to fulfill those goals they have in academics and personally, and they're going to help ready them for post-secondary life. Agencies such as like adult agencies are going to offer you vocational rehabilitation services and information regarding those services and eligibility, so these are going to help students further develop any working abilities that they are going to need to function in post-secondary society. And any adult agencies such as employers can provide opportunities for students to train and work in a paid position and learn on-the-job training with other employees. So communities can go ahead and support by giving monetary support to these transition agencies. They can become advocates themselves for the students and the transition services being offered in the community, and private community members can also just provide opportunities for students to work and train either in paid positions or just in like an internship setting. The different domains for transition curriculum is, again, what you're getting tested on in your ESTER J. So it's going to be employment. What they're looking for here is punctuality. Does the student attend regularly? Do they have respect for authority? Are they able to advocate for themselves and ask questions? Do they have those interpersonal skills to work with people and fellow coworkers? And also things like, do they have the ability to fill out the applications and go through their interviewing process? Recreation is going to include, does the student participate in appropriate free time activities? Are they behaving well in public? Are they able to communicate with other people? And are they engaging in activities outside of the home? For home living, we're looking at, is the student ready to perform basic cleaning, cooking, maintenance of the house or an apartment? Are they able to properly take care of themselves, to take care of their health? And would they possibly be able to be ready to take on some parenting? Community participation, are they able to access resources? Are they able to get around? Do they know how to find housing, insurances? Do they know about purchasing, getting a loan? Post-secondary education, is the student able to look at schools? Are they confident in themselves? Do they know their abilities? Do they know how to get financial aid? Things like that. So this is what we're really testing on, and we take these percentages and we use them in the IEP. So assistive technology is also important. It's defined as equipment used to improve, increase, or maintain functional capabilities of a student with a disability, and it's really used to teach independence and self-determination. So examples would be like talk to text, which helps write emails, answer application questions, make sure spelling's right, punctuation's right. A wheelchair, which could just help with mobility, or using a computer to get around the struggle of fine motor skills such as handwriting. So how to track the learning. Before each IEP, the teacher writing it should gather data such as like testing scores and things from all teachers and healthcare providers and outside service providers. Talk to the student and the student's parents about the goals the student has, and making sure to set attainable benchmark goals. So don't set an outlandish goal that the student's not going to be able to reach in a reasonable amount of time. And that's how we're going to measure them. Reflecting on this process, this is what I learned. It's a huge process for the student that requires a lot of people working together. It all starts at age 14, and the assessments are used to track abilities, interests, and helping set goals post-secondary. Transition includes abilities and limitations, collaboration, community effort, and active participation of students and their parents, and that's really important to make sure that the student is informed and the parents are informed and everyone's feeling comfortable and confident before moving on. And teachers are really only the first step. The community is also very important in making sure that these students succeed, and the other adult service agencies are also very helpful in creating kind of a safety net and a stairway for students to help keep moving forward. And another thing I learned that I didn't write down was the IEP goes through high school, but it does not transition into real life. It can be taken to college as a 504 plan, but again, you need to teach the students these independent skills and these interpersonal skills, because there's nothing like this to help them once they do reach adulthood and once they are in the real post-secondary world. So I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it was a little long. Hope you have a good Christmas break. I'll see you next semester. Bye.